First, please allow me to welcome all of you guys who made it today. We know that there are different events happening at the local communities. And thank you so much for coming. It means a lot to us. And we're going to start with a Quran recitation by one of our students here at Union College, our brother Zubayr.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم. الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله ثم لا يتبعون ما أنفقوا منا ولا أذى لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. صدق الله العظيم. The image of those people who spend their properties in the cause of Allah is like the case of a seed that brings forth 7 ears. And in every ear there are 100 grains. And Allah multiplies further for whom He wills. And Allah expands His creation and knows everything. Those people who spend their properties in the cause of Allah and then do not let any mention of favor or any hurt of feelings follow what they spend shall have their reward with their Rabb. And they shall neither have any fear of themselves nor shall they grieve. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayahs 261 and 262. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you. Please help me welcome Dr. Victoria Brooks, who is actually known among her colleagues as Vicky. There's so much to say about her, but I'll try to keep it short. Dr. Vicky is a Director of Religious and Spiritual Life and Campus President Minister at Union College, offering 3 years of service in various capacities at the college. In addition to her college work, Vicky engaged 7 congregations over 20 years as associate, interim, mission consultant, head of staff, and college chaplain. Her work at the college grew into a full-time position in 2009 with the added responsibilities of director to a newly emerging Office of Religious and Spiritual Life. Boasting that she has the best job in the world. You rarely say that, but I guess she's enjoying it. Vicky happily engages students and other members of the college community around matters of faith and its practice, as well as questions of the impact of religious pluralism in a secular college. I can definitely double that. Please welcome Dr. Victoria Brooks, known as Dr. Vicky.
There's a little height difference going on here. I am honored to be here, and I'm going to ask you to also give a round of applause for Shaheen and his MSA for the work that they've done together. I want to give you an image to hang on to, and then hopefully invite you into a little bit about what this interfaith work is about. This image comes from March 8th of this year. I'm walking in our Wiener Campus Center, coming from a meeting that I can't even remember what it was about. At the foot of the stairs in our Reamer Campus Center, several of the students from the Multi-Faith Forum were sitting at a table soliciting students to join them for a game of religious Jeopardy. That's a fun way that the students get together and learn a little bit about each other's traditions. I walked up the stairs towards my office, and coming out of the men's room were several of the young men who are here right now, a towel over one arm and their feet in the flip-flops that we have in the prayer and meditation room. They had gone and done their ritual cleaning, which I won't try to pronounce because every time I do it sounds more like voodoo than other. As I move closer to my office, the Catholics are just coming out of their midday mass, and they're talking in very lively terms about what the homily was from the priest that day. I entered my office, and there waiting was some students from Imam, our Hindu association. They were waiting to talk to me about the Diwali celebration that was coming up, and I needed to sign some papers. As we caught up a little bit on how their term was going, we could hear the shouts, the boos, and the yays from the story of Purim, the story of Mordecai and Haman, of one of our Jewish groups on campus. Now, I won't tell you that's a typical day. It's not, or I wouldn't have used it as an image, but I will tell you it is a very good image for how lively the pluralistic religious groups are on campus, and what an incredible opportunity I have in working with these young people as they learn more about their traditions and each other's traditions. Religious pluralism at Union College is a very big reality, and this is a fiercely secular institution. Religious life here is understood under the rubric of diversity. That means that the college has, on many levels, accepted the fact that religion is a part of our identity formation and our leadership formation. But this sort of work is not done overnight. I want to give you a little bit of a snippet of history on interfaith work. There was a stir involved in a woman who is now at Harvard. Her name is Diana Eck, prior to 1998, when she started a thing called the Pluralism Project. It was a matter of going around the country and finding mosques, temples, synagogues even, that were kind of springing up in places that were very unexpected. Because of the Pluralism Project, some people at Wellesley got together and in the fall of 1998 offered a conference for higher education personnel that had to do with transformation, education, and religious formation. They expected 100 people to attend that conference. Over 1,000 came, and I was fortunate enough to be one of them in 1998. Ibu Patel, a little-known Oxford graduate at the time, began an interfaith youth corps based on some of the things that came out of the Pluralism Project. Currently, the Interfaith Youth Corps is extremely formative in what now the White House is calling a movement. When I say that, I say it because our President of the United States made an offer to over 2,000 colleges across the country to join in what they called the Interfaith Community Service Campus Challenge. And in that invitation, he invited these higher education places to be engaged in a movement of religious interfaith education combined with community service. Union College was one of 250 colleges that were asked to participate by the White House in this movement. For the last year, we have had students doing community service at Bethesda House, Campus Kitchens, Salvation Army, and the Schenectady Inner City Ministry. We've had talks from the major faith traditions on why we all do community service, what in our sacred texts, in our traditions, in our habits of our hearts involve us in community service. Soheb, as well as Genghis Khan, have both been very active in helping students to understand and ground themselves in why it is we do community service. We've been celebrating the things that bring all of our faith traditions together: mercy, compassion, and hospitality. When Sahib asked me to do this tonight, of course I did a little research on the Islamic Relief Organization, and thank goodness that is so easy to do these days. And one of the things that I loved the moment I got onto the webpage is the subtext under this: working together for a better world. Working together for a better world. The partnerships of this organization involve Roman Catholics, secular organizations, and evangelical Protestant organizations. The percentage of the money that is given in direct aid beats any other organization I could find on the internet in the afternoon I gave to doing research. That is amazing. I think there's a vision in this organization, a vision I've been working on for at least 6 years or more. I attended 2 World Parliament of Religions, and I don't know if any of you have ever been able to have the privilege of attending one of those, but they're quite phenomenal. And the first, I just happened to be in Spain, believe it or not, when the first one that I attended was happening. Now, there's lots of impressions you get at a World Parliament of Religion. Some of it has to do with the intense security. I'd never seen anything quite like it. And also a certain amount of recognition that some of the presenters, mostly from the Middle East, had been banned from the country in order to do their presentations. And there's a little bit of suspicion that you hear occasionally from some of the participants, of course in various tongues, and I could only understand 2 of them. But even more importantly, the thing that my then 16-year-old and 10-year-old came away with was that there is an amazing amount of variety in our world's religions. The first thing that strikes you is the vivid dress of the many leaders that were gathered at both of those occasions. And then there was the hospitality tent, especially in Spain, that was done by our Sikh friends. My children will never forget the hundreds of people that were served in that tent. And listening to people talk with passion about things that mattered to them in the world. And believe it or not, there was also one heap of trust going on between participants. I want to tell you the quote came from 1893 at the First World Parliament of Religion that echoes the vision I believe that many of us, people of faith, hold. And that quote is from one of the founders of the World Parliament. And he said, "From now on, the great religions of the world will no longer declare war on each other, but on all the giant ills that afflict humankind." Much of our part of the world sees religion as the source of conflict and war. But each of us sitting here know that it is our response to human need that elevates our religious understandings and elevates us into that which our God calls us to be. Each of us knows that within our traditions we all have a compassionate response. Different language, different motivation, different understanding, but it is still human compassion. May we tonight, and may we continue always, to elevate that sentiment so that we can show the world a vision of shared cooperation while standing firm in our sacred texts and our religious understandings. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you so much. You did a great job, by the way. And now, sorry, Wadi, they don't have a lot to say about you.
Oh, wow.
I'm honest. I don't have his bias, so please allow me to welcome Wadi from Islamic Relief, because he has a lot to say about Islamic Relief. So.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings to those that I just offered the salams and the pieces to, and we get the blessings as well. Thank you for that beautiful introduction, Syrian. I feel now I don't have a big role to fill right now. And thank you to Miss Victoria for that lovely introduction about Islamic belief. I'm done now, so I'm going to sit. That was great. That was perfect. I wanted to first, and of course, extend the thank you to everybody in this room for attending tonight. You'll hear it over and over because that's how much it means, not just to me, but to the people we're going to serve tonight, inshallah, God willing. And when I spoke with Suhaib about 2 months ago regarding this program, and I said that it's just beautiful to know that a college community is ready to do something, for these people in need. And I know that the Albany community always brings fire with them, and they always have excitement whenever it comes to doing something for the greater good. And I can attest to that. And my bio is to the Albany inter-msa. They're amazing, and we always need to continue to support all their activities and events. I've been working with the Islamic League for the past almost 5 years, and I've been to Albany. I think this is my 4th trip, and every time it's been amazing, and I love coming up here. And it's been for a different cause. I think when I first came, we did something for, if I'm not mistaken, we did it for malaria, for Bite the Bug in Africa. It was a campaign we were doing, and the MSAs here were excited, and they were able to put an event together, and it was a great outcome. And then the following year, there was of course the situation in Pakistan, and the floods that affected over 20 million people worldwide, and unfortunately a lot of us were not aware of that because of the media not doing their due diligence. But the MSAs here in Albany came together, and they were able to help make a difference. And I think we had something like maybe 75 or 80 people, and we raised, I think, around $13,000. It was amazing. And then the following year, which was last year, the situation in Haiti came up. And the MSAs came together, again, for another great opportunity to help make a difference. And it was a great effort. And I just want to applaud them for their efforts. So let's give you guys a round of applause for day in, day out, doing great work together. Just like Ms. Victoria mentioned that Islamic Relief, our overhead is low, but there's a reason because of that. Because there's only 100 of Islamic Relief employees nationwide, and there's over thousands of volunteers that are the fuel and the engine behind the work that we do. We don't do it alone. And actually, we've been getting so much support day in, day out, and it's really been overwhelming. The more and more we meet with individuals like yourselves, the more and more we're able to work on a greater capacity. So it's really, truly amazing. Everybody knows why they're here tonight. It's not a surprise. But I wanted to give you some information about Islamic Relief for those who are new, for those that are veterans, and for those who are here to, of course, have a good time and, of course, get some good food at the end of the day. Where we work. When I joined Islamic Relief about 5 years ago, we were working in about 33 countries. And now, today, 2012, we've been operating in America since 1993, and we were established in 1984 worldwide. Alhamdulillah, we are the largest charity relief Islamic organization in the world. And now we're operating in about 40 countries worldwide. One of the newest countries that we're operating in was Haiti, and of course, the newest countries were recently added due to, of course, anytime there's a disaster or an issue that takes place, gives us a new opportunity to engage with the community and educate them and spread the awareness. So now they're engaged and they're able to help, make that difference. Some of our partners and affiliates, and we are strongly believe in the interfaith work. we don't do this alone. It's not because we're Muslim, we help Muslims. No, actually, we are Muslims and it's our duty and it's our right to help the person that's in need immediately, whether it's our neighbor that lives next to us, or whether it's somebody that lives in another country and we have no clue about them. That's what the beauty of the foundation of the religion stands for. So some of our partners and affiliates, as you can see up top, we have from the Interfaith Actions group, we have one campaign which is well known worldwide. We have the United Nations World Food Program, we have the Catholic Relief Services, the Alliance to End Hunger, Society for International Development, we have the Women, Faith and Development Alliance, Interaction, which is the largest umbrella group organization that has about 180 different organizations within Interaction. And they basically go and lobby if there's a current crisis that takes place and, for instance, the USA is not doing anything about it. We go lobby them and tell them, listen, just like we're working right now for Syria, we're lobbying and telling them that we need to get this aid inside Syria. That's how urgent and dire need the situation is. So we come together and join forces, and these are some of the strongest NGOs working together. And you talk about not one, two, but about 180 working together. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a Mormon-based church in Utah, Salt Lake City. This organization has, day in, day out, has continued to work closely with the Islamic League, and we continue to renew our partnership day in and day out. And a lot of organizations, if you may know, or if you ever turn on TV, they don't work in just anywhere. A lot of NGOs do not work, in dangerous areas. So we work in a lot of areas that secular organizations do not operate in, just because of the dire need and how dangerous the conditions are. I just received an email just right before I started my presentation, and it was sad, because one of our staff members in our Somalia office was killed just recently. And the reason why it hurt me is because I went to Somalia. I visited Somalia in September of last year. And Somalia is very special to me because as bad as the situation over there was not one person in the street begging. And I'm talking about 13 million people in danger of dying and famine. Not one of them, I'm talking about from the youngest to the oldest, was begging or was asking for food or water. Because they knew it was going to come from individuals like yourselves. That's how high their faith and how strong their belief system was out there. Regardless whether it was culture, religion, you name it. It was amazing. So when I seen the email, it really hurt me. And it made me happy because I remembered the Albany community, because October of last year, we put together an event not far away in the local area, and it was a huge success. We were able to bring everybody together and raise over $50,000, and it was really amazing because that money was delivered to the people in East Africa. And we've been working in a very large capacity in East Africa and the Horn. And Islamic Relief was one of the only NGOs working inside Somalia on the ground. And we were able to raise about $10 million cash within 5 weeks. In the month of Ramadan, it was from August to the end of, from August to the beginning of September. It was really a true effort, and you guys were one of the reasons for that. So we really appreciate you guys coming out of your comfort zone for that. And the CFC, if you can look up top, it's basically any organizations that's listed in the CFC gives the credibility to the organization and also allows government officials to donate to Islamic Relief, because we're recognized by the Combined Federal Campaign. So if you're a government employee and you want to donate to organizations, there's a drop-down menu, and Islamic Relief is listed in there. And that's our CFC number, 10194. Just to show you the transparency and trustworthiness of the organization. A lot of us here are college students. A lot of us will be professionals. A lot of us are professionals. So we work with the Match and Gift program. So we work with over 200 corporations nationwide. And this allows your dollar to be maximized. So for instance, I'll use the great example of Microsoft. Last year alone, we were able, with the matching gift program, to collect $9 million from Microsoft alone. So we're working closely with the different corporations, and even, for instance, Johnson & Johnson is another great example. When we did a focus on the floods in Pakistan, in New Jersey, and about 7 campuses came together, and we were able to raise $25,000 just from the employees, and Johnson & Johnson matched 2-to-1. So we were able to reach up to $75,000 just through that campaign alone. So the money is available for each employee. So basically you just contact your HR, and you tell them, for instance, I'm going to donate X amount of money, $100, $1,000, whatever that amount is. And you have a certain amount of money that's allocated to you as an employee. Whether you work for a hedge fund, whether you work for a company, IT, even some non-profits and for-profits. A lot of them do that. A lot of them do this work. Oracle, Cisco, Sun, HP, Pepsi, and the like. The list is out there, and if you guys want more information, you can either contact me, or we have a link on our website that you can find out about. Beautiful part about it, you can raise any money, any amount, and bring it to your company and tell them, we donated this amount to Islamic Relief, and they will verify that with Islamic Relief, and they will match that dollar for dollar up to whatever the amount is. Johnson & Johnson's $10,000, Bristol Myers Squibb is $20,000. All companies have different amounts, so you would just have to verify that with your company. Media mentions. So we've been working with different media across the country. We work with the Christian Science Monitor, Relief Web, BBC, MSNBC, Al Jazeera, and the Sacramento Bee. These are just a few recent recognitions just for the work that we're doing on the ground. And as Ms. Victoria mentioned, yes, thank God, alhamdulillah, we are able to work in a very large capacity, and that's because of your support. Charity Navigator evaluates over 5,100 different organizations on an annual basis. And the 4-star rating is the highest rating any organization can receive. And we were able to receive that 4-star for the past 8 years in a row, which makes us amongst the top 1% of these charity organizations. And the Chronicle of Philanthropy rated thousands of organizations. Alhamdulillah, Islamic Relief is listed in the top 150 of those. Why we're here tonight. Let me get a show of hands real quick. How many people know, besides, let me ask the question, then you can raise your hand. Now you guys are excited. Then tell me what I was going to say. How many people here tonight know about what's really happening in Syria? Be honest. Your arms are short, I can't see them. Okay, that's good. But there's another side to what's happening in Syria. The humanitarian aspect of it. Unfortunately, they're not able to cover a lot of that. Because their urgency is very high, and the role of NGOs is very limited, unfortunately. So the current situation, over tens of thousands of Syrians fleeing violence. The number is over 80,000. Actually, I'm sorry, the number is 120,000 according to the United Nations HCR, the Humanitarian Committee. And they registered those foreign refugees fleeing the country and for neighboring countries. So they're going to Turkey, Jordan, and Lebanon. Those are the 3 countries that our brothers and sisters are being forced out of, unfortunately. Forced into. So the current situation lies that 41% of the refugees have illnesses or physical ailments that require special medical attention. 41%. All ages. They're living without food, shelter, water, or medical care. And unfortunately, the weather is not helping them any much more. Why a lot of organizations are not working inside Syria? First, Syria is not an ally to USA, and we are a US-based organization, and we abide by all policies and procedures to make sure that Islamic Relief continues to operate and help the 6 million people they're helping out annually. Not to shut down the operations because we feel there's a greater need. We do. Just like we were patient with Libya last year during the Arab Spring, we were patient for about 6-7 months. We weren't working inside Libya. And we were working on the border of Tunisia and Egypt. After the borders opened up, we were able to provide millions of dollars of aid and relief inside Benghazi. So it was a huge, it was a huge victory for the humanitarian organizations that they were able to move at a very strong, rapid pace after the doors and the siege lifted from Libya. So we do work very closely. We monitor the situation on a daily basis. And the Syrian authorities have, of course, denied access to humanitarian aid relief. We were actually turned away at the border when we went to Lebanon. They actually told us, you're not coming in, basically. We understand what the situation is, and you're not coming in. The approval to operate freely in Syria has not been granted. As you can see, if you turn on any media news coverage, and the U.S. government restrictions on humanitarian organization, which is basically the OFAC license. It's called Office of Foreign Assets Control. If you don't have this license, you're not allowed to operate inside the countries that there's the sanctions. And that's issued by the Department of Treasury. What can be done? Islamic Relief has appealed to the United Nations and the Arab League to negotiate a humanitarian ceasefire. And going back to the interaction as we were speaking about, we're lobbying internally here on the ground with these other NGOs that also have the same mission and vision, so we can all come together on a stronger work. Required to abide by all laws and restrictions, and we know the dire need inside Syria, but there's also a greater need even on the borders, because there's hundreds of thousands of people that have fled to the borders, and we are able to provide that assistance to them. In Lebanon, we had a project that we were funding, and we were able to fulfill that funding. It was a healthcare hospital clinic that we were able to raise the $600,000 in Lebanon. So now our focus is on Jordan. That's why on the flyer it said Syria refugees in Jordan. 50% of the inhabitants of Akkar already live below the poverty line. 60-70% of the residents do not benefit from health insurance programs. The limited international humanitarian response, unfortunately, did not meet their rapid response. We were on the ground, on the border, providing the hygiene kits, the clothing that they needed, the urgent food that was provided for them, and the hygiene items. And we worked with the mobile clinics on the ground and to provide the medical assistance as well. The partners that we worked with, we have Islamic Relief. We have over, like I said, 40 countries that we operate in, and we have a lot of partners on the ground. Our sister organizations from the UK, from South America, South Africa, and the like, and Canada as well. So basically, we were able to join forces and to now move forward to the projects that we're working on the Jordanian side. So more than 80,000 refugees, Syrian refugees, have fled to the Jordanian border. And Islamic Relief is working with the local initiatives to provide the food, hygiene, products, fuel, and shelter. Just to let you know how important that hygiene kit is. That hygiene kit can save a life. It comes with soap, a towel, a toothbrush, shampoo, a comb. These little necessities go a long way to prevent from diseases being spread. They prevent from illnesses continuing. It cleans people up. It lets them it gets them up and about for them to feel that there's a hope, even with that small hygiene kit. The rapid response included, with the food that we provided, was the rice, sugar, oil, pasta, cheese, tomato pasta, canned meat, salt, and beans. And the rapid response was the fuel distributions are helping families keep warm and allowing them to help, make meals for themselves. The hygiene kits, like I mentioned, include also facial tissue, pads, bleach, toothpaste. The baby formula, of course, was very important because the children are crying, and unfortunately the mother or the father are not able to do anything about it. When I was in Somalia, one child, one girl, infant, was crying in her father's hands. Like, crying so hard that I felt her lungs were just gonna pop. And her father was looking at her and he was saying that, I would rather my daughter die right now than have to face this cry. And he's looking at her in her hands, not able to do anything about it, feeling helpless, feeling like he is a failed father or a parent. So these are the situations that families are facing, unfortunately. The subsidizing housing rent that we're providing to give people a home that they don't have anymore, any longer, unfortunately. And the most recent update, between January and March, we've helped over 1,200 Syrian refugees, and the numbers have increased. Food parcels, more than 130 children received the supplies that they needed, and we continue to provide the relief in the different areas of Man, Zarqa, and Amman. That basically concludes my speech for the night. I just wanted you guys to see more of a visual. Yes, unfortunately, yes, we see the media, we see the news, we see what's going on, but we really don't see numbers and statistics and allows us to move forward and to help do something about it. So, without delaying any longer, I wanted to invite my beloved Imam, our community leader. We got Imam Dr. Omer Shaheen. He flew in from, he was in Siraj today, and he came to join us today because he wanted to join you guys for this great effort. He's going to inspire us with his beautiful words. So without further ado, Imam Dr. Omer Shaheen.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Are you sleepy? Assalamu alaikum. If he took half an hour, what about the sheikh? They said never ever give a mic to an imam or a phone to a woman because they want to stop. So this time he beat me. I promise you, within 3 hours, inshallah, I'll be done. جزاكم الله خير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Dear brothers, respected sisters, there is a story I would like to share with you. There were an imam or a teacher used to teach Quran in Iraq, and all of his students lived next across the river, on the other side of the river. So their parents every day they give them rides back and forth. Once their sheikh, their imam, teacher said, if you have yaqeen, a strong belief, everything would serve you, including the water. If you have a strong yaqeen, you say Bismillah and you walk over the water. So those little children, they are innocent. They took it seriously. And at the end of the day, instead of waiting for their parents' ride, they said, why are we waiting for our parents' ride? Say Bismillah and walk. And they made it. When they get there, their parents asked them, how do you come here? Who gave you a ride? He said, well, we don't need your ride anymore. Our teacher told us this 1, 2, 3. You try it? Yes, we did. MashaAllah, may Allah reward him. Let's invite him for dinner tomorrow, because he make our life easy. Next morning, Bismillah, walk over the water. They went to their teacher. And they told him that our parents invited you for a dinner tonight. He said, Inshallah ta'ala, why not? In the evening, they went after the class is over, and he stand there. He said, where is the ride? He told him, Sheikh, we don't need a ride. You taught us yesterday, if you say Bismillah, walk over the water and that's it. He said, did you try it? He said, of course. He said, show me. They did. So he said, no. I did say it, but I never tried it and I don't want your dinner. And this is the story. To know something, to say it, to teach it, is a story. To believe in it is another story. Yaqeen, it's very important in our life. 90% of people nowadays, they live in chaos. They have a lot of worries. They care and think a lot of tomorrow. Why? Because they believe that tomorrow is their business, while tomorrow is not our business, it's Allah's business. We need to work for tomorrow, but not to worry about tomorrow. We need to do our job, and the result in Allah's hand. It's not in our hand. We need to have this kind of belief, yaqeen, in our hearts. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in Uhud battle, he went to take a rest asleep. One of the disbelievers came to him and put the sword over his neck, and he woke him up. Qum ya Muhammad, wake up Muhammad. Who will protect you now, Muhammad? Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam wake up, open his eyes, look at this disbeliever holding his sword over his neck, and he answered him with full trust of Almighty Allah, full yaqeen, full iman, full faith. He said, Allah protect me. Allah protect me. So the disbeliever started shaking, the sword fall down. So the Prophet ﷺ stood and picked it up and put it over the mushrik's neck, the disbeliever's neck, and he told him, who will protect you now? So he said, oh Allah's Messenger, you are such a nice person. So the Prophet ﷺ set him free as usual. That's the yaqeen we need. We need to connect our heart to Almighty Allah and believe in what He told us in the Quran or through His messengers. Not just know it, not just say it. Because to know something is a story, to believe in it is another story. Work together, it's a beautiful thing, but we need to believe in that and work hard together. Otherwise, we will be like the Sheikh being invited for the dinner. Maryam alayhi salam, Mary, peace be upon her, she was a pregnant. Her people accused her with adultery. She was hungry alone. Her people abandoned her. She was very hungry, weak, about to deliver. At that moment, she asked, oh Allah, I'm hungry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Almighty, He told her, وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلِ تُسَاقِطْ عَلَيْكِ رُطَبًا جَنِيًّا فَكُلِي وَاشْرَبِي وَقَرِّ عَيْنًا. Allah asked her, if you want food, you have to shake the trunk of palm tree. And we know that 40 men strong, like our Imam Siraj, they are not able to shake the palm tree to get the date. So why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Almighty asking a weak pregnant woman, her people abandoning her, about to deliver her baby, she is alone. If you want food, you have to shake the palm tree trunk. You know why? It's a hint for her and for us. All people, all human beings, do your share. That's it. Allah will take care of the rest. The minute she put her hand in the palm tree, the food come down. That's what we need to do. We need to place our trust in Almighty Allah. We have to have yaqeen in our hearts. Yaqeen. So Allah will help us. Then we'll do our share and Allah will take care of the rest. It's not our business. The result is not in our hands. It's in Allah Almighty hand. Can you imagine what Moses' mother, when Pharaoh decided to kill every newborn, and she started running, carrying her baby from corner to another. At that moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to Moses' mother, if you worry, if you're scared for your baby, throw him into the sea. Alqihi fil yam. Subhanallah. Allah gave an order to mothers, to a mother, soft heart women, to throw her newborn baby into the sea. And not just that, he told her in advance who will pick him up. His enemy, my enemy will pick him up. So Moses' mother, because she trusted Allah, she had the trust. What she did, she threw her newborn baby into the sea. And Pharaoh's soldiers pick him up. But Allah's plan is different. The minute Pharaoh's wife saw this baby, the minute she saw him, she said, don't kill this baby. Allah put His love in her heart. This is Allah's plan. That's when you trust Allah and you do what Allah wants us to do. So they took him, adopt Moses, peace be upon him. He lived in a luxury life. Not just that. They start to feed him. He refused all months. So finally they got to bring his own real mom. And they don't know that. They didn't know that she is his mom. They pay her money to feed her own son. And they both live in a luxury life. That's Allah's plan. That's when you trust Almighty Allah, everything will serve you. And you won't serve anyone. But when you not trusting Allah, you serve everything in your life. You will serve your car, you will serve your job, you will be a servant for everything in this world. But when you trust Almighty Allah and you serve Almighty Allah, everything else will serve you. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those. So trust, we need trust. We need trust. We need to connect our heart to Almighty Allah. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised us something, we need to live in that. If Allah promised us 10 times to multiply our donation, we need to trust this. We need to believe in it. Wallahi, I am telling you a real story. A real story. Once I was saying the same statement. If you give $1, Allah will multiply it 10 times as much minimum. When I said that, a little girl, 10 years old, came to the stage. She said, Sheikh Omer, this is 100 bill. I want 1,000 from Almighty Allah. I told her, listen, Wallahi, you will get it. Because I trust Allah. Allah never breaks His promises. 3 months later, I gave a speech, Friday speech in Dearborn. After I finished, a man came to me and said, I would like to talk to you, Sheikh. I said, Inshallah. When we finished, he said, all the time you said 10 times as much. In the beginning, I thought he is after me. He did not get the 10 times as much. I told him, but you know, Allah's business is different than ours. Allah might give it back to you in a way you don't know, I don't know about it. He said, Sheikh, calm down. Calm down. You remember the girl came to the stage, give you 100 bill? I said, yes, I do. He said, she is my daughter. Wallahi, he said, I swear by Allah. That night she has $50 in her bucket. When she heard your statement, She whispered in her mom's ear and said, "Mom, I am after 1,000, not 500. Borrow me $50. I will give it back to you." And she came to the stage, gave it to you. I said, "Yes, I do remember that." He said, "Wallahi." Next morning, she went with her mom to buy school stuff. And when they want to pay the cashier the money, the lights start flashing, manager came running, and few employees making like a party. "What's going on?" Told her, "Congratulations, ma'am. You are a customer number 100,000 and you just win $1,000 cash." Next morning, that's trust. Trust. Do we trust Allah the same or we don't? We need to ask ourselves. The companions, whenever they have financial problems, worse than ours, they used to go and donate. Why? Because they said, if I give one, Allah will give me 10. That will relieve me from my problem. We need this trust. So we can go to sleep without bills. So we have a peace of mind. Otherwise, we'll live in disaster situation. People nowadays, they have problems. We all, even children, start thinking of tomorrow, worry about tomorrow a lot. Believers should not worry about tomorrow. Since everything in Allah's hand, in Almighty hand, we need to work for tomorrow, but not worry about tomorrow. And this reminds me of a joke. If you allow me to share it with you. One lady, she was playing with Misbah Ala-ad-Din, because 10 times as much you know. And all of a sudden the jinni get out. Said her, "Ma'am, you have 3 wishes. Whatever you want. But whatever you wish, your husband will get 10 times as much." She said, "That's fine. Perfect. What is the first one?" She said, "I would like to be the most beautiful woman in this world." He told her, "But your husband?" She said, "Still, he is my husband, and I will be the most beautiful woman. He cannot go anywhere." Done. Next one, she said, "I would like to be the most rich woman in this world." He told her, "But your husband will have 10 times money as you have." She said, "That's not a problem. His money is my money is my money, go for it." Okay, go for it. What is the third one? She said, "I would like to have a very small heart attack." So her husband got 10 times and is gone. Allah is not dealing with us this way. 10 times as much of blessing. This is Allah's business, not this lady business. Yes, we need to check our trust. How much we trust Almighty Allah? How much? Do we trust Him really? Or we just claim that we are trusting Allah? Do we believe in what He told us in the Quran? Or we just know it? Allah promised us, as the brother recited in the Quran in the beginning, when we spend for the sake of Allah, Allah will multiply our donation and give it back to us. Do we trust it? Or we just hear it, know it, recite it? That's make a big difference in our life. We need to trust Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we need to know that whatever we give for the sake of Allah, that's the only thing will support us after our death and will build our life after credit. We need to know that. Ibrahim alayhi salam, look how much he trusted Allah. When they decide to burn him alive, and they put him in the catapult, and they are about to throw him into the fire. At that moment, an angel came to him. Ya Ibrahimu alaka haja. Oh Ibrahim, do you need anything from me? Ibrahim alayhi salam responds very strong. And an angel offered him. What he said? أَمَّا مِنْكَ فَلَا. From you, I don't need anything. أَمَّا مِنْهُ. But from him, Allah. فعلمه بحالي يغنيه عن سؤالي حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. But from him Allah, He knows my situation, He's going to take care of me. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Almighty direct command to the fire, يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما على إبراهيم. Oh fire, be peace and cool Ibrahim. It has no other choice, the fire. Do we trust Allah the same? Or we don't? We need to ask ourselves this question. We need to ask ourselves this question. Otherwise, we know our religion. We don't believe in it. Knowing is a story. Believing it is another story. Is another story. Wallahi, I know a physician, Syrian physician. After he engaged with a sister, he got a cancer. And they told him, maximum you will live for 6 months. He said, لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. He went back to his fiancée and told her, Wallahi, I don't know about that, but you are free. She said, do you know this before? He said, I swear by Allah, I didn't. She told him, I'll be with you. If you pass away or you die, that's fine. This is Allah's will. Then he went to Jordan, where I met him after the incident. He did the same exams, lab. He went to the Medina al-Hussein al-Tabbiyya in Jordan. It's a big hospital. They gave him the same result. Then he went to Germany. They gave him the same result. He went back to Syria and started going to Masjid al-Sinjaqdar in Damascus. He heard a sheikh teaching in the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, حصنوا أموالكم بالزكاة وداووا مرضاكم بالصدقة. Protect your money by paying zakat and treat your sickness by charity. This is an authentic hadith by Bukhari and Muslim. He went back home, started working very hard, daytime and nighttime. When he collected some fund, he went back to the sheikh, gave it to him, and he said, this is with the intention of a cureness to someone. I swear by Allah, I met him after 12 years of this incident. He said, Wallahi, I don't have headache anymore. Not cancer, headache, I don't have it anymore. He opened a big clinic and called it داووا مرضاكم بالصدقة. عيادة داووا مرضاكم بالصدقة. Treat your sickness by charity. We need to believe in what we heard. Dua, pray. When we said the poor people pray for you, Wallahi, it's another real story. Sheikh Muhammad Hassan from Egypt. He is, by the way, one of our students in GTF. I am the director of Islamic Studies program there. And he is one of my students, PhD. He told me, once there is a poor family in Egypt. And at night, her daughter, this mom, her daughter started having a fever. And she said, we don't have money. I don't know what to do. She started cool her down with water, something like that, with the fan, with anything, and pray to the Allah, oh Allah, help us out. Then she cooled her with water. Then she prayed 2 rak'ah. Said, Ya Allah, we have no one but you. We cannot afford any doctor now at 2 a.m. in the morning. Then, a little bit later, somebody knocking the door. She opened. He was a doctor, carrying his tools. Where is the patient? She said, she is inside. He went. He took care of her. Everything from A to Z, and he brought the medicine, even medicine with him. In his way back, he said, I want my fees. She said, we don't have money. She says, why are you calling me? Listen, this is my cell phone, this is the number. He called back the number. Did you call me? He said, yes, of course, we are waiting for you. Where are you? He said, what is your address? They live across the street from this poor family. Then he looked at her and he said, Wallahi, Allah brought me. Allah brought me here. Actually, when you connect your heart to Almighty Allah, everything will be different. Everything will be different. Those who trusted Allah, by the way, Muslims community, the donors, trust me, if we call for another fundraising dinner next year, you will show up. Everyone donate. He will give again and again. Because Allah loves those people first, and Allah multiply their wealth second. And we believe as Muslims, لا يجتمع البخل والإيمان في رجل. Stinginess and belief will not be in one man. Whether he is a believer or a stingy. But believer stingy, no way. No way. I know, Akhi, I have 5 hours to go. So, and stingy, that's Imam Siraj remind me of a joke. I would like to share it with you before I go. There is a stingy person, and absolutely he's not a believer. Because believer won't be stingy. When he got married, he went to the honeymoon by himself. His wife, when he came back, she told him, I never see like this in my life. You went by yourself. What kind of honeymoon is this? He told her, listen, I'll make it up for you, don't worry. He invited her for a nice dinner. And then when they put the food, he started staring at the food and said, I wish we are alone. He said, my God, we are alone. He said, no, I don't mean you. I mean me and the food. So alhamdulillah, we don't have stingy people among the believers. We need to work hard on ourselves, connect our heart to Almighty Allah, and believe in what we know before it's too late. In the end, I would like to share with you a story, a real one. Wallahi, I break fast in Ramadan with a Palestinian family. Wallahi, there is nothing but water. Nothing. I told her, ma'am, I want to break my fast. She said, my son, be patient. Food is coming. I thought delivery is late, but food is coming. Wait for 10 minutes. Nothing showed up. Ma'am, I want to eat. She said, food is coming. 10 minutes later, food is coming. I told her, ma'am, listen, be honest with me. She said, my son, we have no food. We are waiting for our neighbors. When they finish eating, they will send us the leftover. Sometimes now, sometimes 1 hour later, sometimes before sahur. So this is the situation. I met a family. One of their children, 8 years old, wallahi lost his vision because they cannot afford $20 for the doctor. $20, wallahi, he's blind. Wallahi, I visit a family, 6 people, 4 children, their mom, grandmother. She told me when she saw me coming, she said, I swear by Allah on you to visit our home. I did. Search for food. I found nothing. I told her, how you survive? She said, every meal time, we go to the restaurant trash. Pick our food from the restaurant trash. Can you imagine that? Do you know how much food we waste here in USA only? 62 million pounds every day. 62 million pounds of food we waste in USA only every day. In another part of the world,
People dying because they have nothing to eat. We have to take it serious. If we don't share, a time will come, people will ask charity for us. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. If you be grateful, I'll give you, otherwise my torture will be severe. We ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to soft our hearts tonight. We ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us tranquility and love and self-control. We ask Almighty Allah to grant us the real understanding of our religion. Ameen. You are honored tonight by coming, because Allah, if He loves someone, He will use him, his time, his effort, his money. So you are among those Allah loves. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to love us more and to use us to serve the whole humanity. Ameen.
Thank you wa jazakumullahu anna kullu khair.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to pray and then we're going to continue the program. And I know you guys are hungry. We wanted to keep you hungry so you can stay around. So we are going to pray. So for those who are going to pray and do not have wudu, actually the bathrooms are right across the hall, right? So we'll give you about 30 seconds to make wudu. So make it express. And we're going to pray. For the rest, please hang around and we're going to have a program after the prayer. Thank you. Okay, Assalamu alaikum. We're going to continue, and before we head for our food, before I introduce Imam Siraj Wahhaj, right before the program started, really I looked at the number and I was a little bit disappointed, but I think really coming to reality, this is really an investment, and I'll tell you why I think so. I remember, as Wahid mentioned, we had an event with Islamic Relief at the beginning of this year, and it was for the victims of the African drought. And really there was a small thing that happened, and really it made a huge difference, at least in my life. As the fundraiser started, and Waleed was collecting the money, and as he mentioned, actually we collected about $55,000. Right after the event was over, I received a phone call from one of the students at Union College. And they asked me if I was still around, and I said yes. I'm probably they're smiling right now because they're here. And I told them, yeah, I'll meet you, by the door. And when I met them, they were smiling. And actually, one of them was laughing, and then they all started laughing. And one of them said, so shall we tell them the story? I said, what's up? So one of them said, listen, when we came here, actually we came by a cab. But as they started actually raising the money, we gave all of our money that we had in our pockets. That now we do not have a ride back. If you are not to give us a ride, we are going to walk back to Union College. It took me about 25 minutes drive to get from that place to Union College. Imagine if they started walking, if I wasn't there. Literally, they gave all of their money that they had. They did not think about the cab. And it's funny because when they called me, they didn't know if I was still there or not. And what made it more interesting, as I was giving them a ride back, they were thinking of how they can raise more money. They were students, by the way. Even if they were to have jobs, probably they had the minimum paying jobs. And that tells you that when they gave all their money, they did not have enough or they didn't have money at all to take a cab. They didn't think about that. And it just got me because I'm working. I teach and I make money. And unfortunately, when you make money, you start counting money. But these college kids, they showed me what belief is. They had trust in God. And God took care of them. And it's very interesting because the discussion that we had in my car, we wanted to figure out how to work with other groups. And I sent Victoria an email and she was really excited about it. She said, this is great. We should move on with this and start talking with other groups and see how we can raise money. Now look at this. You have people from different faiths. They never thought who they're going to be helping. But what kept them busy really is how to get the money. They didn't think that, as you know, when you speak of Africa, you have people coming from different religious backgrounds, different cultures. People that you would never meet. Yet these students, they realized that it was their obligation to give. Some of you guys might think and say, well, I only make $7.25 an hour. I do not want you to think, and as Walid was showing you the statistics and the numbers, unfortunately that's one bad thing that I don't like about numbers. We start thinking about numbers, we never look at the people behind the numbers. I want you tonight, if you came to eat, or to see Imam, Siraj, Wahhaj, and actually one of the reasons I'm here because I want to see him. I want you to think that the dollar you're giving it to an orphan that lost two parents and is crying, too busy crying for the lost. That orphan should not worry about getting food. You're giving that dollar to a mother who lost her child and she doesn't know where he is. And she wants to keep busy looking for her child, not trying to provide for her other kids. Really, that's what your dollar is going to. Let me tell you a story about Jesus. When Jesus was collecting charities, alayhi salam, a very, very poor woman went to him. And she gave him whatever she could. And people started making fun of her. Because whatever she gave was too little compared to what they gave. And what did he say? He said, in the sight of God, what she has given is a lot better and more beloved to God compared to what you have given. For what she has given is the best from what she has. And what you are giving is really the leftover. Tonight, I really hope, and I think this is an investment. It's not about how much money we're actually raising today, but it's really how you leave today after this event. Really, just turn on your TV and look at these people and pretend that you are in their shoes. Victims never get to pick the situation they're put in. Victims never decide who to get help from. Unfortunately, we do have the choice of helping or not. Let us not be among those who make actually the worst of choices, which is to turn their backs and say other people will help. It's not on me to help. And trust me, the students, when they did what they did, I knew that they are the leaders of today, not tomorrow, of today. For what they have done, I, being an employee with a secure job, did not think of. Think about this. Giving everything what you have in your pocket still thinking of how to make more, and not even knowing the people that are actually getting the money, not even knowing where they're coming from. But you know one thing, indeed they need help. I'm not going to talk a lot, but before Imam Siraj Wahhaj gets the mic and he gets to talk for 3 hours, is that Imam standard time?
No.
What makes tonight another very special night, at least in my life, is that one of the students approached me. Underline this, a student approached me and said, I'm giving this money on behalf of Albany Inter-msa, and do not mention my name, he said. And it's funny, when he told me the amount, I was like, that's a lot. Probably I should keep the money and make sure that I get it from you, and it's not just a promise, but actually I'll get the guarantee. And I would like for that to be an example. That student gave $1,000 cash. All right? That student gave $1,000 cash, not wanting his name to be mentioned. So I got you the cash, all right? It's not a pledge, it's actually cash. I really hope that we do take that as an example and reflect on it, and do not be among those that like the story but never relate to it. Imam Siraj Wahhaj is an African-American Muslim. That was really quick switch. He's excited. So you want me to do the bio or? All right, here he is.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Brothers and sisters, I'm very happy and honored to be here tonight for a few moments with you. As you know, this is a fundraiser for the people of Syria, and I would like to match the donation of $1,000 with $1,000 for myself. However, part of it is a pledge. It is $100, 1/10 of it right now. Brother Wali, you have the responsibility every month to give from me until I finish my pledge. It's a real pledge, but you have the responsibility to make sure that I get it. So we have $2,000. I don't want to stand between you and your food, because you don't know what you look like right now. No, really, for real. You really look bad. No, I mean, you look like you're hungry. You like you can't wait to eat. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say a few words, then to try to collect in minutes as much money as we can. I believe that we can walk out of here in 10 minutes with a commitment of about $40,000. On the way here, we drove from New York City. I did the Juma prayer in New York, and Brother Waleed, myself, and my brother here, we drove, and then we're gonna drive back, inshallah. And I think about in 10 minutes we can get from you a commitment of about $40,000, and whatever we get, inshallah, we're thankful to Allah the Almighty. But just something for you to think about. Sheikh Omer, I thank Allah for you. You know, actually, Brother Waleed mentioned that he came from Syracuse, but actually came from Arizona and stopped off at Syracuse and had a program, came here, and have to drive back tonight to Syracuse and take a plane back to Arizona, only to stay for a few hours and then go to the West Coast, to Los Angeles area, inshallah. And I'll be going to Oregon, by the way. Just something to think about. He mentioned, the brother introduced me, I'm African American. I don't know whether you noticed or not. But if you think about it, most of us in this university, this hall tonight, we have multi-identities. You could say, Ana Aswan, I am black. My parents, they came from Africa. My foreparents, they came from Africa. So you would be right, say, Ana Aswan, I'm black. But also, I can also say, Ana Americano, I'm an American. I was born in this country. I could also say I'm a Muslim. I'm a Muslim. And Ana Bashar, I'm a human being. All of that's correct. Ana Aswad, Ana Amrikiyun, I can even say Ana Afrikiyun, I'm African. Ana Muslim, Ana Bashar. In each one of us who sit here, we have these different identities. I want to talk about, I mean, honestly, I'd be shocked if 15 minutes from now I'm still talking. Or 20 minutes. Or 30 minutes. I'd be shocked if I'm still talking after 40 minutes. But just the identity of a Muslim and the identity of an American. John F. Kennedy once said, those who would make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. And this is what we have around the world. We have this revolution going on. Why? Because people like Assad refuse to give justice to the people. It's inevitable. Either it would happen peacefully or would happen through violent revolution. Martin Luther King Jr. said something interesting. He was part of an organization called the Gandhi Society, the Gandhi Society. And the Christians, they criticized him. How could you use a name like Gandhi Society? That's not a Christian name. And you know what Martin Luther King Jr. said? He said it is ironic, but inescapably true that the greatest Christian of the modern era was a man who never embraced Christianity. Who was he talking about? Who was he talking about? Hello? Wait. Are you alive? Who was he talking about? Gandhi. What's Gandhi's religion? It's a Hindu. But what was Martin Luther King Jr. saying? There's something about his character, though he didn't call himself Christian, he had the Christian attitude. Give another example. If you ask a Jew, what was the religion of Abraham, what would they say? Jewish. If you ask a Christian, what was the religion of Abraham, they would say Christianity. If you ask a Muslim, what was the religion of Abraham, they would say the Muslim. Same man claimed by all of them. Why? Because it's not the label, it's what that person is. Now, we are supposed to raise money today. Can I tell you something about America that's great? I thank Allah that I am a Muslim. To me, the most important identity in my life ain't my black color. I mean, I like my blackness. Imam Zaki, I would not trade my black skin for no skin. And my broad nose and my kinky hair, whatever I have left. But ask me why. Because Allah said in the Quran, it is Allah, it is God who shaped you in the wombs of your mother as He pleased. If God pleased to make me a black man, I'm happy to be a black man. If God made us white, we should be happy to be white. If God made me a man, God made me a woman, God made me blonde, God made me blue eyes, whatever it is, God is the creator. And we ought to be happy what we are because God made us that way. But I ain't hung up that way. To me, the most important of my identity is not that I'm African, not that I'm American, not that I'm black, but that I'm Muslim. I tell you why. Because there is not one person that's in heaven because they're black. Right? Not one white person in hell because they're white. So it ain't that, the color, it ain't that identity. There's something more significant than that, because there's Americans in hell, and that's why, by the way, the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, "Arju an takunu nisfa ahli jannah." I hope that you, my followers, will be one half the people of paradise. If his followers are one half the people of paradise, who are the other people? And that's why the Prophet said, "Al-anbiya'u ikhwatun li'alatan ummahatum shatta wa dinuhum wahid." All the prophets were brothers. Their mothers were different, but the religion is one. So what is our identity? I'm an American. I thought about this. Do you know that, Sheikh Omer, did you know that a few months ago there was a woman in Saudi Arabia, a woman citizen, who was arrested? You know why she was arrested? She had the audacity to drive a car. And in Saudi Arabia, the only country where women are not allowed to drive a car. Now, I ain't, that's their business. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's their business. But it's interesting, Imam Zaki, the same day that woman was arrested, I flew from New York City to St. Louis on American Airlines. And how ironic that the pilot of the plane that I flew in was a woman. Can't drive a car, but can fly a plane here. So there's some things that's very good about this country. Can I tell you something else that's good about this country? The Constitution give us the right of freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Now I'm going to be honest. I'm going to make a confession. I confess that when President Bush was the president of the United States of America, I said some horrible things about him. Really, I did. And you know what? I was never arrested. I've talked about President Assad and the King of Saudi Arabia from America. That went right over your head. That went right over your head. So the thing that's great about this country, we have freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom to petition the government. You saw what happened Occupy Wall Street. You got Americans all over this country. You had Americans like Martin Luther King Jr. and others who demonstrated all throughout those years, and they had the right to do that. Now I'm finished with this because I want to get some money from you and let you eat, man, so you can change your face. Someone asked the question, Imam, what does an elephant, a car, and the amount of food that the average American eats every year, what they have in common? Do you know? By the way, this ain't no joke. I can't tell jokes like Sheikh Omer. I ain't got the jokes. You know? Where's Sheikh Walid? Walid, you know what they have in common? It ain't that heavy, man. It ain't that deep. You have to take a deep breath. Each one of them weigh at least 1 ton. No. It's true. It's true. The average American eats every year about 1 ton of food. For real. Some of you will eat that tonight. And you think about it, we've been really blessed. Let me give you one verse from the Quran and then we close. You know what people is mentioned in the Quran so often? The children of Israel. You ever noticed that? The children of Israel was blessed by Allah. The Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said that the children of Israel were ruled by prophets. Every time, كُلَّمَا حَلَكَ نَبِيٍّ مِنْهُمْ خَلَفَهُ نَبِيٍّ. The Prophet said, whenever a prophet among them died, another prophet took over. And if you study all the prophets in the Quran, many of them were from the children of Israel. So there are a lot of lessons that we're supposed to learn from the children of Israel. And the law mentioned to the children of Israel, and you got to remember sometimes, brothers and sisters, don't you think that the Quran is just for the Muslims. It's not. If you don't believe, all you got to do is read the Quran. And you will see sometimes Allah speaks to different people in the Quran. I'll give you one example. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ قلتم يا موسى لن نصبر على طعام واحد فادع لنا ربك يخرج لنا مما تنبت الأرض من بقلها وكفائها وفومها وعدسها وبصلها قال أتستبدلون الذي هو أدنى بالذي هو خير اهبطوا مصرا فإن لكم ما سعيتم. And when the children of Israel, and when you, Allah said, when you, the children of Israel, said to Moses, "Oh Moses, we can't endure on one kind of food. Please call on your Lord to give to us what the earth produces." From what? From lentils and cucumbers and garlic and herbs and onions. And Moses said, "Will you exchange that which is good for that which is better, that which is good for that which is worse?" If that's the case, go down in any land, you shall have what you ask for. Now let me tell you how heavy this is. And listen, I got about 3 minutes to go. Let me tell you how heavy this verse is. The children of Israel, did they ask for anything illegal? No. Moses would have said, "This is illegal." Yes, that was illegal. Onions and garlic and this stuff, herbs, that's okay. But what food were they tired of? Now notice that whenever Allah, the Almighty, He mentions prophets and revelation, He used the word anzala. وَأَنزَلَ التَّوْرَاةَ وَالْإِنْجِيلَ. And He sent down the Torah, and He sent down the Gospel, and He sent down the Psalms of David, and He sent down the Quran. So when Allah wants us to see the magnificence of the revelation, He used the word anzal. Check this out. وَأَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَنَّ وَالسَّلْوَىٰ وَأَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَنَّ وَالسَّلْوَىٰ. And we sent down to you, children of Israel, manna and quail. Where did it come from? You talk about miracles and having the yaqeen, having the faith. They're in the desert. And they're in the desert. How are they going to eat in the desert? Allah is going to send them down a miracle, send them down from the sky, manna and quail. And they were ordered every day to collect enough food just for that one day. Don't take more than that. Except on the 6th day, they had to get double because the 7th day was the Sabbath. Any other day, the food would rot if they take more than one day. But the 6th day, it didn't rot because they had to collect enough because they couldn't work on the Sabbath. Everybody with me so far? And so what is the lesson here? The lesson is that Allah sent down the blessing from the sky. Okay, one more thing. I'm almost finished. I'm so happy tonight. Let me tell you why I'm happy. I'm looking on your table. I looked at every table. And I saw something on every table that made me happy. I am so happy, man. Waleed, I'm so happy, man. We don't even have to drive back. We can walk back to Brooklyn tonight. That's how happy. What made me so happy? What's on your table that made me so happy? Water. Check this out. Now, Sheikh Omer, don't get mad at me now. Right? I ain't talking about you. I'm a man and everything. The average American, Sheikh Omer, you the average American, drinks 53 gallons of soda a year. Right? Like soda. Listen, man, I love you. Don't be drinking no soda. I ain't trying to put nobody out of business. But you're killing yourself with that soda. Seriously. Soda will kill you. If you want to lose weight, I promise you, just start drinking water. Because you know what? You can drink as much water as you want. It ain't going to hurt you. But if you drink 2 cans of soda a day, by the end of 1 year, guaranteed you will gain 30 to 50 pounds. Seriously. There's so much stuff in the water because you don't have brothers and sisters. See, Muslims, I used to be happy about Muslims. Muslims, they go to the store, they go shopping, they always look at the ingredients, right? You go look at the ingredients because you're Muslim. What you looking for? What you looking for? Huh? Pork. Khanzir. Alhamdulillah, no khanzir. We can eat it. All you looking for? Alcohol, liquor, alcohol. Right? No alcohol, no pork, we can eat it. But smart people are looking for more than that. Because brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah, for this country, the manufacturers have to put on the food information, nutrition. Right? How much sugar? How much sugar? Oh. How much fat? Now wait a minute. Let me mention something about fat. Fat ain't bad now. Everybody needs some fat. But one thing I'll tell you about fat, when you see fat, fat means fat. That means you're going to get fat. So you got to be careful. Don't eat too much fat, unless you're going to get fat. No, for real. I ain't playing with you, man. I'm serious. And I watch some of you eat dinner. Honestly. I watch you take some salt and you go like this. What you doing, man? That's sodium. That will kill you. High blood pressure. But every food you eat, they have to indicate it. Sugar. 79 million American people have pre-diabetes. Meaning that if they don't treat it, they're going to have full-blown what do you call it? Type 2 diabetes. So brothers and sisters, we got to get our act together. And check this out. Check this out. Can I get one of those bottles of water? Check this out. Hey. Check this out, right? Look. Listen. وأنزل من السماء ماء وأنزل من السماء ماء. And Allah sent down what? Soda? No. Now I'm asking you this question. Will you exchange that which is better for that which is worse? And I'll tell you something. Water tastes real good. And I noticed this is the first time I've ever been to a banquet and they didn't have soda on the table. They must know I was coming. So brothers and sisters, listen, can I be honest with you? You want to live longer? I guarantee from now on, the food that you usually eat, cut it in half. You live longer. Because two things that we don't do as many Americans. Number one, we eat too much. And number two, we eat the wrong kinds of food. You have to know what you're eating in the right amount. If we cut, Sheikh mentioned about the food that we waste as Americans enough food to feed 200 million people. That's how much food we waste. Cut the food in half. And be careful what we eat. Let's take some of that money and give it to the people of Syria who need it. I want to see, I was going to start with $1,000. I said, let's get 40 people with $1,000. But this sheikh here, my sheikh, he made me say, no, Imam, don't start with 1,000, start with 5,000. Because there's maybe someone here who understand the great blessing that they will get and they want to give $5,000. Anyone here make a contribution of $5,000? Any one person, and believe me, this is one of those quick fundraisers, not one of those all-night fundraisers. 3 minutes from now, you'll be eating, inshallah, God willing. Anyone $1,000? Anyone make a commitment for $1,000? Last call. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. About 63 people. I want to see 40 people. We got 2 so far. 38 people. Each commit yourself to $1,000, and let me tell you why. The Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, "Inna Allah katab al-hasanat wa sayyat." God writes down the good deeds and the bad deeds. And he said, if you intend to do a good deed, even if you're unable to do it, Allah will write it down as one full good deed. I want you to say, you know what? I'm going to commit myself to $1,000 for these people that suffer over there. And I want to see 40 people, 38 more people. And I want you to say, you know what? I can do it. Some of you can write a check tonight for $1,000. Some of you can write a check for $500 and pledge the rest. Or like I did $100 and pledge the rest. So I'm going to count to 3. And I want you to think in your heart. No force, no pressure. I want you to count. I'm going to count to, mashallah. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. No pressure. Sheikh Omer, he mentioned 2,000, so that's 4. That's 4 of the 40. So we need 36 more people. And I ain't playing with you, man. I want you to say, listen, man, I'm gonna help these people that's suffering. I'm gonna count to 3. And you raise your hand. I'm gonna count 40 people, or 36 more people. 1, 2, 3. Raise your hand. Let me start counting. Raise them up high. I'm not saying 5,000. I took that off the table, right? The $1,000 is off the table. Now on the table is $1,000. Who make a commitment for $1,000? Good, alhamdulillah, that's 1. So that's 5. Number 6, Allahu Akbar. 5, that's 5 or that's 1? Sheikh, 5 or 1? Brother, is that 5 or 1? Okay. For now on, this is the rule. If you raise your hand like that, that's not 1, that's 5. Okay, good, that's 5. That's 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Allahu Akbar. Number 8, Thamaniya. Raise your hand, brothers and sisters. Let me tell you something, don't hold back. Unless Allah will hold back on you. And don't think that, it's not a lot of money, what they're going to do. It is a lot of money. We add this up and Allah said, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. Whoever does an atom's worth of good shall see it. So we got 8. I want you to raise your hand and say, yep, I want to be part of that. We got 8. Who else will give $1,000? 8, that's Thamaniya. Who will be the 10th, the 9th? Just act. Anyone else? I think there's more. I think there's people that can do more than that. Payments? Yeah. You can do it, you can do, I think, $80 a month. That'll be about 1,000, right? Is that right? It'll be about 1,000 for a year? $83 a month. $83 a month. You can do that. And I'm telling you, brother and sister, I got a plan on how we can do it. Cut down on that soda. Cut that soda out. And cut all the other stuff that we eat that's not healthy. And we'll be able to do it and help others. Anyone else? 1,000? I refuse to believe that that's it. You got to give me at least 10. I need 2 more people. 2 more people. Yes, mashallah. That's 1? That's 1. Okay, that's it. I got you. That's 9. Allahu Akbar. That's great. Jazakallah khairan. And number 10? 2. 11. Allahu Akbar. Mashallah. May Allah bless you. May Allah bless you, sister. The best of this life and the best of the hereafter. That's 11. But you know what? We talked about Prophet Moses, peace and blessing be upon him. According to the Quran, Moses took his stick and hit it upon the stone, and how many springs came forward? Huh? How many? 12. 12. Hey, are you okay, man? Why? So let me get one more. We got 11. Allahu Akbar, number 12. MashaAllah. But we got a problem. No. We got no problem. This is not a big problem, not a major problem. We can solve it like a second. I go to the store, a building. I get in the elevator. I go to the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th floor, the 14th floor. What happened?
No, 13.
Huh? We skipped. Why I skip 13?
No, floor 13.
Why we skip 13? Yeah, man, it's bad luck. But we don't believe in bad luck, do we? So I need a 13th person. Allah Akbar. There's a 13th person. So we got 13 people. MashaAllah, we got 13 people that give $1,000. That's great. But I think, Imam, there's one more person.
There's one more person who'd like to give $1,000. You know what the Prophet said, peace and blessing be upon him? The food of one person can feed two. Cut it in half. Cut your food in half and give it to people who suffer. Last call. Number 14, Imam, Allahu Akbar. Imam, I want to let you know, thank you very much, but you caused us a problem. Let me tell you the problem you caused us. The Prophet said that Allah is odd and He likes odd. So I can't stop at an even number, 14.
We have a 14th, but he doesn't want to say it.
Huh?
We have a 14th, but he doesn't want to say his name.
You have what?
We have a 14th person.
You have 14?
Yeah, but he doesn't want to say his name.
Okay, we got 14, we got 15, so the Imam is the 15th person, alhamdulillah. That's good. So we got 15 people. Very good. The person wants to say their name. Okay, we got 15 people. Okay, we good? We good? We can eat now? Yes? Not quite. No, wait. We're right there. We're right there. I tell you what to do. I tell you what. I'm going to be merciful. Some of you couldn't do 1,000. It's okay. I'm going to cut it in half. And 500. Who will give $500 for this worthy cause? Raise your hand, and then we go about our business. 500? Number one, Allahu Akbar. Anyone else? Allahu Akbar. Number one, who else? $500? Now let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. You're going to get paid for this. I'm finished. I'm gone. You can go get your food, but I want to show you something before I go. And I'm testing your patience, right? You say, Imam, you get me mad. I used to like you until you came here. But let me show you. I got to share this with you, and then I'm going to go. So this is a remarkable thing. And I think once in a while, Imam Zaki, I think once in a while, Allah give us a teachable moment. And I want to share this with you, and then we go. Who's collecting the money? Who's collecting the money? Who's collecting the money? Come, get my money. Come. All right, I'm finished. How many know what college I went to? Anybody know? You know Zaki, you know what college I went to? You know? Top Wahhaj. He's a really funny guy. Top Wahhaj. Top was the name of my mosque, my master. It's not the college I went to. I went to New York University. You know what my major was? Sheikh Omer, do you know what my major was? No? Imam Zaki, you know what my major was? You don't know? Really? For real? Anybody know my major? My major was math. I went to the School of Education, math, in New York University. And one of the things that I studied in math is what is called probability. So what I'm about to tell you, right before you eat, are facts. How many heard recently about this, the biggest lottery ever in the history of our country? How many heard about that? Okay, good. How much money could you have won? How big was the pot? Does anybody know? Very good. $640 million. You heard about that? $640 million. Everybody wanted to get that $640 million. Sheikh, they said that people would line up at the store before dawn. Some people would stay in line for 5 hours to get a chance to get the lottery ticket. Now, what you don't know, I'm going to take a line out of Spike Lee's Malcolm X. And I know none of you ever saw any movies. You don't look at movies, right? But there was a movie called Malcolm X. How many saw it? Okay. Remember, Denzel had a line something like this. He said, "You've been hacked. You've been tricked. Bamboozled. Bamboozled. Hoodwinked." And brothers and sisters, the American people have been bamboozled. You think that the amount of money that the Americans spent on the lottery was $640 million. That's not true. What they really spent was $1.5 billion. And it is said that 100 million Americans played that lottery. Buying $1 tickets, some bought 5, some bought 10, some bought 1,000, some bought 7,000. So what happened is that half the money you don't even see. Who gets it? The state government gets 35%. And the lottery commission gets the other 15%, shared with those who sell the tickets. So if you sell a ticket, you get a commission on every ticket you sell. You get my point? So what's left is $640 million. So what? I can make $640 million. I'm going to try. What's your chances? They say your chances is 1 out of 176 million. That's not true. It's greater than that. What they mean to say is this. I studied, what did I say I studied? Probability, right? What they mean is this. If you played every possible combination, then 1 out of 100, there's 176 million different combinations of those 5 numbers. That's what they mean. But your chances of getting that are less. But less, and by the way, when you were standing in that line, are you saying, everybody in the line, I hope all of us win?
No.
Huh? Are you saying that? What are you saying?
I
hope that I am the only one. Right? Because I don't want to share this money with nobody. All right, now let me give you the actual facts. Let's say that you won, this young man here. You won $640 million, but they got a choice for you. Do you want your money right away? Or do you want it over 26 years? $20 million a year. What you want? You want it right away? You want it right away? Okay. If you want it right away, you ain't getting $640 million. Let me tell you what you're going to get. $462 million. Still good, right? Not bad. $462 million. Because if you want it right away, they cut it off. They cut it down. Most people say, I want it right now. And even if you say, listen, I want it over 28 years, remember, they're using your money for 28 years and they're making money off of your money. You've been bamboozled. I ain't finished yet. Now, okay, you got $462 million because you want it right away, but you got a problem. The problem is Uncle Sam and his wife Ira got to get their cut. You know who Ira is? You don't know Ira? Tell them who Ira is. IRS, right? So it brings it down to $347 million because Uncle Sam gets federal taxes. We good? But what happened is 3 people won. So we got to cut it some more. Now it's down to $156 million. Now you got another problem. People wrote books called The Curse of the Lottery because people who win lotteries, they're cursed. All of a sudden, every kind of relative comes to you. People have to move because they want, you got this money. And I want some of your money. And then you got another problem. The last problem is that this money, in the eyesight of God, is illegal. Because the prophet said, Inna Allah ta'ala ta'ibun, la yakbaluna ta'ibah. God is good, only said that was good. So you got all these people wasting all of that money. And guess what? Only 3 people win. It is not permitted in Islam because the only way in gambling that you win is somebody loses. This is what Allah said in the Quran, they ask you about drinks and gambling. It's not permitted. So brothers and sisters, I close. 10 seconds. Who make a commitment of $500? Good. That's 3. Anyone else? 4. Number 4. Number 5. Allah Akbar. I want more. I want. If you want to eat, give me some money. I'm serious. I ain't playing with you. You ain't gonna eat unless you give me some money. I got 5 people. I'm closing. Anyone else? 500. Number 6. Sit down. Allah Akbar. How are you going to stop at 6 and the Prophet said 7? 7 people will be shaded by Allah in a day when there's no shade except this shade. You want to stop at 6. So somebody got to raise a hand and be the 7th one. Number 7, Allah Akbar. Can I tell you what the prophet said? Peace and blessing be upon him. How many gates to Jannah? 8 gates to Jannah. How you gonna stop at 7? You stop at 7, man. 8 gates to Jannah, man. I wanna go to Jannah. You wanna go to Jannah? Raise your hand. 8. Who be the 8th person? 8th person. We go now. We can eat now. Raise your hand. Come on. 8th person. Where are you? It's there. I can see you. I can smell you. No, really. You smell good. One more person. Allahu Akbar. Number 8. MashaAllah. See, wasn't that easy? No pain. But the Quran says that Musa was given 9 signs. Why you gonna stop at 8? No, man, I ain't playing. This is crazy. One more. I can take my seat. 9. That's it. 9. Allah Akbar. Number 10. MashaAllah. Great. See, isn't that easy? I know no more. You want me to say 10, but I'm not going to say 10. Because he said, "Man ja'a bil hasana falahu ashru amthaliha." Whoever brings 10, whoever brings 1 will have 10. I ain't going to ask you for 10. I'm finished. May Allah bless you. And eat your dinner and enjoy yourself. I love you. Let's do this for Syria. Do it for ourselves. Assalamu alaikum.
You can give, just fill out the forms, and we have people actually collecting them. Also, if you look at Waleed, kind of like holding that blue box or whatever, just give him the forms. Make sure you don't give him cash, he's going to keep it. I'm just kidding. So if you have cash, also actually give him that. As it was mentioned, actually, you don't have to make a payment like the one time. I know that Islamic Relief is really flexible when it comes to installments, so whatever you can give, just make sure that you write that down. If you have any questions, also actually get in touch with him. He's right here, so just ask him any questions of whatever you might have. The food is actually all the way back there. You can attack it right now. We have